In 1987, a strange figure appeared on television screens across Chicago. It wasn't part of any show, and it wasn't supposed to happen. A man wearing a rubber Max Headroom mask hijacked the signal of two TV stations, speaking in distorted gibberish before the feed abruptly cut off. To this day, no one knows who did it or how. This is the story of one of the most bizarre, unsolved broadcast intrusions in history. It was the evening of November 22, 1987. Chicago was calm. On most screens, people were watching the nightly news on WGN Channel 9. Suddenly, the broadcast glitched. The picture flickered, distorted, and then a man appeared. He was wearing a plastic Max Headroom mask, a fictional AI character from an 80s cyberpunk show. Behind him, a piece of corrugated metal spun slowly, imitating the backdrop of the real Max Headroom TV set. There was no sound, except a strange buzz and garbled static. Then, the figure moved awkwardly, as if mocking a robot. It lasted less than 30 seconds before engineers switched frequencies and regained control. The news anchor appeared back on screen, confused, saying only that their transmission had been interrupted by a signal problem. Later that same night, around 11:15 p.m., another Chicago channel, WTTW Channel 11, the local PBS station, was airing an episode of Doctor Who. The hijacker returned. This time, the intrusion lasted over 90 seconds. Viewers across Chicago sat in disbelief as the Max Headroom impersonator spoke in a distorted voice, rambling incoherently. He referenced Coca-Cola commercials, made cryptic jokes about nerds, dirty gloves, and TV stations, and then, disturbingly, ended with a brief moment where he bent over and exposed himself as someone off-screen swatted him with a fly swatter. Then, static. The signal died and normal programming resumed. It was over as suddenly as it began. The next day, news outlets were in chaos. The FCC launched an investigation, stating that what had occurred was a federal crime, hijacking a television broadcast. But the truth was, no one had any idea how it happened. In the 1980s, taking over a TV station wasn't easy. Broadcasts were analog, transmitted through microwave relay towers. To interrupt the signal, someone would have to physically overpower or jam that frequency with their own transmission using specialized equipment. This wasn't a prank you could pull off with a home camcorder. Whoever did it needed serious technical knowledge and possibly insider access. Some experts suggested the hijacker must have been close to the transmission tower, maybe even working for the television network. Yet no one came forward and no one was caught. The FCC traced the signals but couldn't pinpoint the exact location. The equipment needed for such a stunt would have been bulky, noisy, and difficult to hide. And yet, whoever was behind the mask managed to vanish completely. For Chicago, it became an urban legend overnight. People passed around VHS recordings of the event, whispering theories. The real Max Headroom actor Matt Frewer publicly stated he had nothing to do with it. The local news joked about it for weeks, but behind the scenes, authorities were disturbed. The hijack had shown that even regulated broadcast systems could be breached. Then, the story faded, except for the occasional resurfacing on internet forums years later. There are three main theories about who was behind the Max Headroom signal hijacking. The first theory, it was a group of technology students from a nearby university. Chicago had several institutions with broadcast programs: Northwestern, DePaul, and the Illinois Institute of Technology. It would have taken someone with advanced knowledge of microwave transmission, and students might have had both the technical skill and the mischievous motive. Some anonymous users on early message boards claimed to know who did it, but they never offered proof. The second theory, it was an inside job. People have speculated that a former or current broadcast engineer at one of the hijacked stations orchestrated it, possibly as a revenge or satire. The Max Headroom show was known for its criticism of corporate television and commercialism, and the hijackers' marking tone toward nerds and TV people might have been personal. The third theory, it was simply an untraceable prank, a ghost in the signal. A few ham radio operators claimed that, with the right equipment, one could overpower a microwave link temporarily. If someone had access to a powerful UHF transmitter, they could inject their own feed for a short time before the system stabilized. It would have required precision, but not impossibility. There are also weirder ideas. Some viewers claim the broadcast had strange subliminal qualities, flickers of symbols, or hidden frames, though careful analysis of recordings found nothing unusual. Conspiracy communities later connected the hijacking to other unexplained broadcast intrusions around the world, but none have been linked with evidence. Whoever did it never spoke publicly. The voice was distorted enough that even with modern forensics, it can't be traced. The only known clue is the accent, slightly Midwestern, and the homemade backdrop of corrugated metal, possibly a garage door or storage panel. Investigators in 1987 interviewed dozens of suspects, including local tech enthusiasts, but the trail went cold within months. To this day, the FCC file on the case remains open but dormant. Decades later, the Max Headroom incident has become something more than a crime. It's now a cultural ghost, a symbol of the early internet age before it even existed, a reminder that even the most controlled systems can be glitched by human hands. When people watch the grainy footage now, they see more than a prank. They see something unsettling, a mask that mocks television itself, a broadcast that shouldn't exist, a moment where order broke for just 1 minute and chaos slipped through the static. The man behind the mask was never found. His equipment was never recovered. The FCC never filed charges because they had no one to charge. All that remains is that strange, distorted grin frozen in analog noise, a smile from the shadows of a dying broadcast. And somewhere, in some old VHS drawer or forgotten tape archive, the Max Headroom signal lives on, waiting for its next glitch.